Hi, this is Lori McCabe from SMB Group, and I'm talking with Rob Reed, CEO at Intact. This is the second part of a two-part video series, and in this part I'm going to be talking to Rob about some of his tips and perspectives on business. As someone who's founded and run a lot of successful businesses, what are some of the key areas that you could focus on to advance your business and get ahead? You were also honored with the Glassdoor CEO of the Year award last year, and so I'm just curious for any of the people looking at us and watching this and listening, what kind of tips do you have for some of these mid-market businesses over and above the automation and the analytics?
I do have a lot of other people ask me, so how were you able to create this great growth-oriented organization and have a culture that seems to really be working? And the first thing I'd pass on to people is have a really compelling mission, and it has to be customer-centric. It has to be driven by why you're doing it, not how you're doing it. But like when people come to Intact, most people think, oh, they do accounting and financial management and ERP. And I'm like, no, we're helping change the world. We're helping change the world. We work with the Nike Foundation, and they go on in and are looking at how they can change women's ability and to get into business in Africa. How can they help empower them? And as they went on in and instituted programs across Africa, they were finding a lot of inconsistency in the success rate of these women being able to start their own businesses and do a great job. And because of Intact, where we could go in and break down village by village what was happening, they were able to change their program so they could have a higher success rate. Right. That's the we are helping change the world. That's what.
And helping companies understand what levers they need to pull for that success.
Right. The other thing, and this one seems obvious to most people, but really hire the right people. And it's like, hire the right people. What you have to do is you have to hone in on their traits, the individual's traits. And what we do at Intact is we look at, first of all, are you a customer-centric type of individual? Do you care about others? Do you care about the customer? Do you care about your fellow employees? Do you care about our partners? If people inject in the interview process tell me about what my budget responsibility is, or tell me how many people are going to be reporting to me, or tell me about how fast I'm going to be able to move up in the organization.
Like me.
Yeah. No. What we want is, tell me how I can contribute. Tell me about how other people work here and how they work together to have a bigger meaning. Those are the types of people that we're looking for. We also look for people that are just naturally curious. Because if you're naturally curious, you're going to attack the status quo. If you attack the status quo, we go back to that other point of now what we're trying to do is improve the world. We're trying to improve whatever we're working on. Right. So we don't accept. So there are a lot of times you work hard. It's like, look at what we did. And we're like, that's great. Now, how are we going to do better?
Yeah.
And they go, oh yeah, let's go do better. And so we really try to look at how can you hire the talent that aligns for your mission. Now, just what we've done at Intact may not be right for others, but really think on through what are the traits that you need in an individual in your organization. And we've just found that team players that are customer-centric, that are very curious, get you there. Now, we have the highest customer satisfaction rating in our whole industry, the whole ERP industry, not just cloud, and that's just mid-market. And it's according to two outside organizations, G2 Crowd and Trust Radius. We're off the charts in comparison to everybody else. And it has everything to do with, I interview every person. There are a few that have made it through, but I interview every person, making sure that they've got the right traits and the right kind of behaviors and the right attitudes. in our industry, we're lucky enough that we have really intelligent people. So most people walking in through the door are smart
enough.
they're motivated.
Right.
Now, are they going to fit in
Culture,
to be able to take it to the next
culture is really
level?
important.
My son was in crew in college, and it isn't all about just the strength of pulling the oar. It's pulling it together in unison. And if one person hits that water a little bit differently, guess what? The boat starts to go in a different direction. So that's one of the things that we are trying to achieve at Intact, is making sure everybody's pulling together. And it's amazing what you can do when you've got a true team all pulling.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it makes a difference for the customers, and that's why the retention's so high.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's another thing that I think is really important, and that's they have clear, defined goals and objectives, and getting them written down, mutually agreed upon. It allows you to hold people accountable. And so when I talk with others and they're saying, we're just, it doesn't feel like we're achieving this kind of success we'd like to have. It's one of the first things I ask them is, does everybody in the organization have written objectives? Whether it be for a weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it might be, whatever's right for that organization. But are they in writing and they're mutually agreed upon?
I love that, because I think too many times we all have our own assumptions and we don't make sure that they're synced up.
Yeah. And then, one other thing is that we're dealing mainly with knowledge workers, and they like to be stimulated by more than just work. And we really like to have a work-life balance. It's not just work. It's work and life.
Yeah.
And so we really we encourage that our employees take time with their families. We encourage that they give back to their community. The organization invests in a lot of different community types of programs, and I think that then our employees feel like we really do care, which we do.
Right.
And having an empathetic, caring, curious organization is just a wonderful thing. So that's what it does.
Yeah, well, Rob, these are great perspectives. I mean, not only on some of the solutions and some of the areas that Intact is helping their customers, but I think just also a great insight into the company and the culture, and probably a great recruitment vehicle for you guys. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you for talking to me today.
Well, it was super seeing you again, and thank you, Lori.
Okay, thank you.